Good morning, everyone. My name is Damien Walsh. I work for Independent Living Movement Ireland, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the launch of the new Independent Living Movement Ireland website. Sunday, the 10th of December, marked the 75th anniversary of the Declaration of Universal Human Rights, and this event, 2 days later, marks ILMI's contribution to that auspicious date. The development of the website is something that has taken many years, but it ties in with the launch of our new strategic plan, which took place 2 weeks ago with Minister O'Brien's colleague, Minister Anne Rabbitte. Central to that strategic plan are three values: the values of human rights, collective empowerment and social justice. And the website that we developed and the resources contained within intersect with those three values. Where human rights are supporting disabled people's involvement in activism, we develop resources that give them the confidence around building their own awareness and analysis about what we mean around disability and the models that underpin how disabled people are excluded from society. When we're talking about collective empowerment, we're talking about supporting and recognising the role of local disabled persons organisations, or DPOs, and how important that is. And we're talking about social justice, we're talking about resources that give us the confidence around the systems, structures and policies that can be used to build inclusion for a genuinely equitable Ireland. And the resources that we've developed have taken some time, but we're very, very proud of them. I was speaking to Minister O'Brien just before the launch. We're confident that at an Irish level they're unique, and probably at an international level as well, given the breadth and depth of resources that will inform not only disabled activists, local disabled persons organisations, but non-disabled allies, policy makers and politicians, that where people want to find out more about disability equality, the social model of disability, the structures and systems that can inform building an inclusive Ireland, we feel the ILMI website is the place to go. The structure for today is I'm going to introduce some of my colleagues to not only link the role of the website, but to link the role of the work that they do in developing and creating disabled persons organisations and collective spaces. Namely my colleague Peter Cairns, who's our DPO Development Officer, then Fiona Weldon, who's our Capacity Development Officer, and then Nicola Meikle, who's our Community Development Worker for the Virtual Online Inclusive Community Empowerment Project, or VOICE, which is funded by Minister O'Brien's Department of Rural and Community Development as part of the Community Development Programme. Before we move on to Peter's work, I want to thank everyone for joining us today in such a busy schedule. I particularly want to pay reference to the work of all the staff who have played, not only for today, but in building the massive bank of resources that we have, for the members that have participated in many of our video campaigns. But I also want to recognise Jarlath and Colm, who've put a huge amount of hours of work in developing this website that we're incredibly proud of. And particularly, and I know she won't look for any praise, but particularly Fiona Weldon, who developed a huge bank of resources through the Strategies for Change programme, which was funded by Rethink Ireland. I know Fiona will recognise the contribution not only of the presenters from various different organisations, some of whom are here today, but also the participants who shaped the knowledge base around what they would need as disabled activists in engaging and trying to create that Ireland that we are talking about as Ireland, an Ireland where disabled people have choice, control and freedom to participate in Ireland as equals in an inclusive society. So Peter, I'll ask you to come up and give your 10-minute input around DPO development and how the website links in with that.
Morning, David. Morning, Minister. Det her er en crash from a tornado. Lithium, so I managed to hear. So this Damien's going to talk from me after 10 minutes, so I'll be dragged down. So just in terms of the website and it's connected with local GPOs, disabled persons organisations. The website will be a resource for the local GPOs that are setting up across the country. I'll give you an example. Yesterday we were with the Sligo GPO, and we were meeting the county council. Then you mentioned the social model. Sligo County Council, the course, I think the only council at the moment to adopt the social model in 2018. That was our work. So, but adopting the social model is the easy part. It's actually bringing it to life. So yesterday, as far as I know, also, Sligo County Council is just about to publish a draft new strategic plan on disability. It was done in cooperation with ILMI and Sligo GPO. Nobody else. There's no service providers consultants. It was just local GPO. So that's the a social model strategic plan. And that strategic plan will have quite a few references to the material on the website, including the videos. A lot of the videos produced and edited by our colleague John Owens. And those resources on the website are directly connected to local GPOs. So the idea is that the website is not only a place to archive what we do, but also it's a living mechanism to feed the learning from other GPOs to local GPOs. So the idea is that in terms of the social model, and I'm glad we're so close to human rights and our histories, that the social model is the only place where human rights can be realised. With a medical model, I would be classed as a people with cerebral palsy, and cerebral palsy has to be cured or fixed. Even though I live in Leitrim for the past 20 years, I grew up in Killock. So really, in the social model, I'm Peter, the scumbag in Killock. So, far more interesting than based on impairment label. So the idea is that if you have impairment label like spinal birthday or autism or cerebral palsy or Parkinson's, you have to have Dublin. You can access some good transport, some good buildings. Like, you have the same impairment label in Leitrim or West Cork. You don't have the same access to those accessible supports. So it's a very different lived experience. So that's why local GPOs has to be established to bring that learning that ILMI has created to the website. Take that learning and bring it back to life on a local level. So another example of that is in Leitrim GPO, the resources on the website and the green paper. So we're able to suggest local people in Leitrim to the Leitrim GPO, the drama piece, we performed it. But the audience are able to access the website and findings across the whole nation. So the website is a resource to help local GPOs not only develop as an organisation, but also to take the UN Convention learning across the country and apply it locally. So Sligo GPO has now directed Sligo County Council that the Sligo County Council strategic plan will start off on the UN Convention. So the obligations in the UN Convention will actually dictate the narrative of the Sligo strategic plan. So again, those resources have been developed by my colleagues and by the board, and they're up on the website in terms of feeding to local community. So the idea is that the website is something that it has material. We're getting more material, and it's going to directly feed into local GPO development. So I'll just finish that point and that's the thing. Thanks.
Many thanks, Peter. I think it's really important to provide that context, but also we should have said at the start, the emergence and the development of disabled persons organisations is not only central to the realisation of the UNCRPD, but strategies relating to sustainable, inclusive, empowered communities, community development processes, but it's also brand new in Ireland. So we're at a very exciting juncture in that ILMI as a DPO has been established since 2018, but through the work that we've done in the last few years, through the brilliance of our staff, through the brilliance of the resources that we have, but also at a crucial juncture where we have the UN Convention ratified, there is now an appetite among disabled activists to organise collectively to bring around that change. So the emergence of local DPOs is just something we begin to support through the DRCD supported project and voice and through initiatives that Peter and Fiona have begun to support. And on that basis, I'm going to invite Fiona to just give us a little bit of background about some of the crucial resources that have been developed for the ILMI website through the programme she ran called Strategies for Change.
So good morning, everyone. It stopped raining, so that's a really good thing. Because anyway, and Leitrim, it looks anyway. So Strategies for Change was deliberately designed, and it was very deliberate, because before I even started with ILMI, there were notions of the idea of organising for collective change. So it was designed specifically to build the capacity of disabled people across Ireland in the area of collective activism. The programme is grounded in human rights, the UNCRPD, and social model thinking. Okay. Collective activism is about moving away from individual activism to working as a collective. Essentially, it's about building an army of where well-informed disabled people come together to strategically organise for change. It's about chipping away. I know Catherine talked about chipping away at dismantling the barriers that keep disabled people from living their best lives. Participants of this program, and there's many, and some are here today, are empowered to critically analyse the social inclusion and oppression that they have experienced as disabled people. Strategy for Change is very much a journey, Claire. It's very much a journey, and it's broken down into 3 specific sections or parts. The first part is about exploring and critically examining the concept of disability, the models of disability, 2 polar models of disability, the importance of language, and how this can empower disabled people to think differently about themselves and understand that change is possible. The second part is about examining and critically examining disability policy, and we have lots of disability policy in Ireland, disability practice and related legislation. We also look at the role of DPOs in shifting the power relations, giving disabled people the authority to use their lived experience to create one voice and end discrimination and segregation. The final part of the course concentrates on the ways to work towards organising for collective change, the importance of values and the role that they play kicks off this section of the course, and continues with learning about community development approaches. The role of local government is then explored, and the last few sessions of the programme looks at representation, collective action, and the role of social movements in systems change. So the impact on strategies for change. So I can say that I'm very humbled by leading out on this course. I think it was very much a concept that was driven by the board of ILMI, and it was kind of taught before I even came to ILMI. So I know Peter was part of that. Des and Damien and others were very much drivers for that. So I came in kind of at the end to sort of coordinate it. And I learned so much from all the participants that stuck 1 year. So it was a year-long course. So we're now in our 3rd year. So I have to say thanks to Robbie, Mary, Catherine, Akira, Sarah, Gillian, Margaret, Claire, Aoife, Pat, John, and Paula. And year 2, we have Michael, Tom with a H, Ross, Amy, Damien, Isabel, Nicola, Eamon, Owen, Stephen, Lavinia, and Stacey. 2 years of really hard work. Almost all of our graduates are involved in either working for ILMI, okay, we won't put hands up, are on the board of ILMI, and went on to further education, and involved in our strategies for change working groups, and other collective spaces that other staff with ILMI run. So thank you so much for trusting the process, and thank you so much for trusting me in coordinating the program. And in our evaluation, and over the last 2 years, confidence building came up time and time again. Unity, belonging, chipping away, the notion of just chipping away, because community development is about chipping away our systems. It's about using the fire in the belly, and the notion of a strong shared value-based approach to encourage the allyship of non-disabled civil society in organising for change. Thank you to the many external presenters, including Niall Crowley from the Values Lab, Damien Pillar, thank you, and Lawrence Cox, Mary, Aileen, and David from Maynooth College, Aisling Lynn, Bernie Bradley, Iris Elliott, Jacqueline Healy, Elish Barry from Black, and Siobhan. I think I see Siobhan from Eneva here, do I? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you to the board members that contributed, so Shona, Jackie, Selena Des, and our national experience advocates, activists, Arlene Davis, Colin Hooley, Pauline Conroy, and our international activists that fell into the program, Professor Colin Barnes, Phil Friend, Adam Branska, Rachel Hurst, and others. All of these pockets of wisdom have contributed to the success of the Strategies for Change program. To our budding activists that are doing year 3, so we have Paul is here today, and Shane, Mary, Margaret, Timmy, Gillian is here today, Sarah Jane, and Derek. See you all next year for really hard work. So let's use our strength collectively to build a new Ireland where all disabled people can fully participate in an inclusive society as equals, It is about not leaving anyone behind. Thank you to all the staff that fed into the programme. Peter, James, Claire, Damien Walsh as well. So it was very much a team effort. Part of the programme, as Damien and Peter mentioned, was to develop a suite of online resources that anyone can access to learn more about collectively organising for change. I believe that having access to these on-tap resources will nurture and support the rollout of DPOs across the country. Our suite of resources include a library of relevant recordings with accompanying text, links to related articles, and YouTube videos for those who prefer to watch, listen and learn. Strategies for Change is a very unique platform where disabled people can come together to share their lived experiences, learn and empower each other to collectively lead change. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Fiona. I really think that's really important. When you go onto the webpage, you'll see, obviously, we've got our 3 core values, but immediately you'll see a button that will direct you to the Strategies for Change resources. And if you do want to learn more about disability equality, about the systems and structures and policies to influence change, and also organising collectively for change, I'd recommend there's a multitude of information available for there. And as Fiona's done such an amazing job compiling that and connecting it, and obviously to again reiterate the support of the likes of the Irish Human Rights Equality Commission, the Free Legal Advice Centres, University of Galway, University of Maynooth, Values Lab, Tror, and the National Women's Council, and obviously the individual members and board and staff that participated to give us a resource that we're immensely proud of and will continue to grow and use in the future. So I'm going to hand over to Nicola, who is our Voice Community Development Worker, in conjunction with Paula Soran and Colin Woolley, who's the part-time peer mentor, running the virtual online inclusive community empowerment project around the development of local DPOs in the south of the country. Nicola.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It seems, first of all, my name is Nicola, as Damien said, and I've been working with ILMI since 2022 on a project called Voice, and it's very apt to be talking about Voice on a morning where we're launching our new website, as Voice, which stands for Virtual Online Inclusive Communities for Empowerment, relies on digital outreach to connect with disabled people, and the creation of online peer-led collective spaces, where disabled people can make new connections and benefit from training and peer mentoring. They are introduced to the social model and its counterpoint, the medical model. For the majority of people, it's the first time that they've heard about the social model, and for many disabled persons, it can be a light bulb moment, a transformative event in their lives, where they start to see their worldview changes, and they start to see the world through a different lens, and they realise that they don't have to just accept things the way they are. That together things can be changed, and voices can be heard. For others, it can be a slower process because, for many reasons, including internalised ableism, where disabled people, which can internalised ableism can diminish a person's self-worth, where they don't recognise any value in joining another group of disabled people. In fact, they probably not want to be part of a group of disabled people because they've internalised that sense that disabled people are somehow less than. So when that happens, this is where peer mentoring comes into play, working one-to-one with an individually to build capacity, and then until they're ready to join a collective space. when disabled people do join the online platform in their county, they are beginning their activism journey. They learn about the structures that exclude them, and they begin to recognise that the commonalities and similarities between our struggle as disabled people for full realisation of our human rights and other minorities as well. You know, voice empowers disabled people to make change because they learn about the tools that they have at their disposal to make changes, including UN, CRPD, public sector's duty, how to use the media to get their message out, etc. And of course, they have to develop the skills to work together as a team, as a group. As Voice is a cross impairment project, so we have, in each county where there's, an online community, people have to learn to work together and recognise, even though they may not share the same struggles, that's the great thing about collective activism, that you support each other. That's the difference, I guess, between, self-advocacy and collective activism. We're all working together to change barriers for all disabled people. The training is delivered by myself and Paula, and also we get other members of Voice, both staff and people on the board, to give inputs. Peter's given an input in one of our 6-week workshop sessions, and only recently Jackie Brown, we were lucky to have Jackie, our ILMI board member, to give a talk on the UN CRPD. So they also learn about equality legislation, and ultimately the most effective way to ensure that the perspective of disabled people is embedded in local and national policies is when the input of people with lived experience are consulted with, and their perspective is given and respected. Ultimately, the aim of the online platforms in the various counties is that they will evolve into a DPO, a disabled persons organisation, that Peter has explained. It's a long process. Any type of change, it takes time. But when you look back from the bigger picture over the last 30 years, changes have happened, but it hasn't been easy, and there's been times that people have gotten knocked back and disillusioned. But when you've got a solidarity and support around you, then you don't give up. You keep going, because really all disabled people just want the same choices and freedoms in respect of housing, transport, employment, training, just want the right to live ordinary lives with the same opportunities to make decisions about what aspects of their community they want to become involved with, and whether that's the arts or employment, or raising a family, etc., etc. I guess just to finish up, disabled people, we're not a homogenous group. We come from different. We're a mixture of different, genders, ages, socioeconomic status. We all have different priorities in life and have many other things going on in our lives besides, the struggle for equality. But nevertheless, we have to learn to work together and to develop the skills to identify an action and how to execute it, how to chair a meeting, but those skills, people are given the opportunity to learn those skills. So as I look back on 2023 and even 2022, as we look back on because it's that time of year, for reflecting on the challenges and achievements that have happened throughout the year. I know that myself and Paula are really looking forward to bringing what we learned from this year into the work we've done in 2023, to build on that in 2024, and hopefully to reach more disabled people and see the establishment of DPOs. Just briefly in Cork, for example, I think, maybe perhaps just to mention one or two of the highlights. Members of Cork Voice participated in the Cork City Council local economic and community plan, next 5-year plan. The Cork City Council had a consultative session in City Hall in person, and many members came along, and it was very empowering and rewarding to feel that you're getting the opportunity to contribute to your city and how it'll look in 5 years, in 5 years' time. Also, obviously, a lot of disabled people are quite enamoured by, are quite activated by the proposals in the disability reform in the Green Paper, and we had an online consultation that we will submit on behalf of Cork Voice. So, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank also Fiona and Peter as well. To give kind of a context of the work that we're doing in ILMI, the vision that we have, that we're projecting of what we'll do, and the resources we develop that will give us that platform to build a collective sense of what local disabled persons organisers will be and how we'll influence change in the longer term, and the impact it has already had, whether it's through the programme that Fiona has run or the programmes that Peter, Paula and Nicola are involved in, but all the staff as well. I'd now like to call on Minister O'Brien to say a few words. Minister has been huge. We're very excited to have him here because we've been trying for ages to get him to come to an event, and he's also been looking to get involved, and it's really exciting towards the end of this year that we have you here to launch this resource that we feel is unique at a national, international level around building that community development approach to inclusion for disabled people. So thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you, Damien, and thanks to Peter and Nicola for their inputs as well. I'm not sure, is there anyone in the room that Fiona didn't thank? I think she was fairly comprehensive there in her list of names. But I am delighted to be here, proud to help fund some of the work that ILMI have been doing. So it's really just like to take the opportunity, I suppose, to thank Damien for inviting me to speak today, and I'm just very happy to be with you all. As we celebrate 75 years since the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the launch of this website is a very timely milestone in our ongoing commitment to promoting and protecting the rights and dignity of all individuals, especially those with disabilities. So it gives me great pleasure to be in a position to launch this new website. It is a very valuable online resource featuring many videos relating to disability equality and how to empower disabled people. The resource is unique, as Damien said, not only nationally but internationally as well. It's based on developing critical materials that can be used by disabled people, both individually and collectively, to learn about systems, structures and approaches to achieving equality and inclusion. The launch of this new resource is a very significant step forward in realising your vision, the ILMI vision, of an Ireland where disabled persons have freedom, choice and control over all aspects of their lives and can fully participate in an inclusive society as equals. The ILMI website is a resource that should be celebrated. It allows for emerging DPOs to use these resources and to collectively engage with systems and structures locally and nationally. And it's a testament to the progress you have made and the strides you continue to make in ensuring that people with disabilities are afforded the same opportunities and rights as everyone else. DPOs are, of course, led, directed and governed by disabled people, run by disabled people for disabled people, established locally, nationally or internationally, primarily to collaborate, express, promote, pursue and defend the rights of disabled people. And it was for this reason and others that in 2021 the ILMI Virtual Online Inclusive Communities for Empowerment, or VOICE, Community Development Project was allocated funding under our CDP programme in the department. And I'm delighted to say that the project is making great progress. ILMI Voice Project works with disabled persons across 7 counties in Cork, Kerry, Tipperary, Carlow, Kilkenny, Waterford and Wexford. And over the course of 2023, the Voice Community Development Workers delivered 3 6-week online training programmes delivered to 30 disabled adults in total to learn about community development approaches and how to work with ILMI to develop local DPOs. Voice is leading an approach of how to work with disabled people online. Using the resources launched in this website will help these much needed DPOs to inform local policy development and social inclusion measures. And it's reassuring to know that ILMI recognise that disabled people must have the equality of opportunity to become active members in their communities. The work of ILMI Voice CDP and the development of this website helps in achieving this goal. It highlights the benefits and how important it is for ILMI to continue developing training resources to support local DPO development. Voice also has a series of online disability equality events for disabled people, or had, over September and October, which were hugely successful in broadening the visibility of the project. And the topics range from the social model of disability to the national housing strategy for disabled people, to the role of local DPOs as well. Over 100 disabled people attended these online events and participated in discussions afterwards. The CDP programme overall trials an autonomous community development approach, giving voice to the most marginalised communities such as people with disabilities, new communities, travellers, as well as other vulnerable groups, to enable them to build relationships with the relevant mainstream services. And it's vital, I think, that the needs and challenges facing those most vulnerable and marginalised in our society are recognised and that they're empowered to engage, share their experiences and have their voices heard. Social inclusion and support for our communities underpins all the policies in my department, reducing social inequalities and exclusion and facilitating a society that is just, fair and leaves nobody behind. So on behalf of ILMI, I would like to extend the thanks to Fiona Weldon, ILDN, for her work on this project, Colm Flood and Jarlath Gray from Lynch Mob Designs for their work in making the website user-friendly, the members of the community and voluntary sector, and of course ILMI members who contributed to the development of the contents of this website. In closing, I'd just like to thank you all for coming today, and thank you most sincerely for the work you do in engaging and empowering people with disabilities. Very strong sense of solidarity here today, very strong sense of allyship, and that'll serve you well, I think, in the challenges that you face going forward as well. As with Damien, I encourage everyone to explore the website, engage with its content and join us in our ongoing commitment to upholding the rights and dignity of all individuals regardless of their abilities. So just to say really well done to everyone on your commitment, your dedication and really the excellent work that's showcased here now today as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. I really appreciate those words, and I want to recognise the genuine support and commitment of Minister O'Brien and the officials from the Department of Rural and Community Development, not only in directly funding the VICE project, but also their engagement with ILMI. And when the Sustainable, Inclusive, Empowered Communities strategy came out, it immediately spoke to the values of ILMI, and we've been very committed to engaging with that, and we'll continue to engage with that. I know launching a website doesn't seem that exciting, but to us it's huge, and I want to take time to thank everyone for attending today, but also reiterate the Minister's words. It's so important that resource is utilised on an ongoing basis. I want to thank the Minister for taking time out of a very busy schedule, but also thank everyone else. It's a time of year when everyone is very busy. To come to a launch of a website when it's much easier just to click online, but it speaks volumes to the allyship, to the participation of disabled people, and the support from our many, many allies that they wanted to be here to celebrate this, because as a resource, it is unparalleled. And as Fiona said, we're very excited about how we can add to it in the future. We've a huge amount of resources that we have developed. There's more pending. We're particularly excited about some of the work we've done around disability equality and language. And I know Nina's going to lead out a project to make a lot of that really accessible to short, snappy video pieces that can be used by any community group across Ireland. We're hugely enthusiastic about that. We're on that a cusp, as Nicola said, of where there's a real appetite for local DPOs to be developed. And I really want to thank all of the staff, board and members for guiding us across this journey to where we are now. It is at that point where I think we've roughly finished on time, and there will be tea and coffee in the foyer, so if people can hang around and want to mingle a little bit, we'd really appreciate that before people go back to their busy day jobs. So thank you again for joining us. Thanks to all the hard work. I want to recognise not only the role of the Department of Rural and Community Development, I also want to recognise the role of the scheme to support national organisations, or SSNO, administered by PUBL, and also the funding provided for our organisation through the Health Service Executive that allows us to do so many of these exciting things. We think we're good value for money. We do far more than we were supposed to do this year, and an opportunity people get to see some of the documentation, including our strategic plan and some of the policy papers we published in the last year. But failing that, if you don't have time, bring some with you, because they're a really good read. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to my colleagues for taking the lead on the presentation today.
And what was your highlight of the day? Did anything stand out to you?
Well, a few things actually. I really enjoyed hearing the speakers talking about the work that they're doing, the strategies for change, the website work. Peter talked about disabled persons organisations, but of the website, I'm absolutely convinced that this website is going to be a useful resource, not just for disabled organisations, but for all community sector groups that are interested in human rights and interested in equality.
I found it very informative, and this is one of the big achievements for ILMI, because it gives a proper channel for disabled people to communicate amongst themselves and also with ILMI.
The website looks excellent, and I'm looking forward to exploring it later.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And what's your name?
So my name is Barry Colfer, and I'm a guest here from the Institute of International and European Affairs, the think tank. I'm here to learn as much as I can about the website and this organisation and disability policy. It's really important.
That's brilliant, Barry. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
My name's Andrew Daly. I work with Clwyd Housing. We've been in touch with ILMI in the last few weeks to kind of try to, be a bit more deliberate about our approach to accessibility in housing. So yeah, the event was really, really good, and the website looks brilliant. It will certainly be a big help to us in kind of getting up to speed.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Barry and Andrew, for coming today. I really appreciate it.
No it's good. It's good. It's good. They talk about the different beaches. There's different things. I heard that. What was it called?
We heard Fiona. She talking about you doing the strategies for change.
She talked about the second strange.
Yeah,
she did. And you're enjoying the course so far, are you?
Yes, that's very course so far.
That's great.
It's very course.
That's great, Paul. Thank you so much.
Bye.
And Gillian, how did you find today?
I found today great. It was very interesting.
Brilliant. Thanks a million for coming. And you're enjoying the Strategies for Change course so far?
I'm enjoying the Change course with Paul O'Neill, my boyfriend. I like very much. I'm 89.
That's brilliant. And thanks a million for coming today. It's lovely to meet you both.